Hey everybody, thanks for listening to the Kansas City Business Cast. This is your host, Michael Reisinger from VAS LLC. Today I have two very special guests here on the show. I have Dre Cannon and Jessica Ward Cannon from Better Together. They've written a book and they've got other business ventures that they're going to tell you about. Dre and Jessica, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having us.
Hey man, we're glad to be here.
I'm so glad that you kicked this off. I usually tell people how we met, and I started following you guys on Instagram. I think you did the same. You might have followed me first or whatever, but we talked about it day before Thanksgiving. I was out in Texas and you were like, hey, what's the process for coming on? And it was funny because I saw your message and I had to double take and I was like, wait a minute, I'm a new fan of them. They want to come on the show?
Yes.
Yes, of course. And then when we talked, it was like, okay, yeah, I'm a huge fan of what you're doing. I love how you two, you're always working out together. You have developed programs in that manner. You've got the book that has come out. So I'm very excited to have you share your story with everybody. So I guess it would be kind of great to start from the beginning, and how you guys met. So how'd that start? And we can just kind of go from there.
Hey, you want to tell the story, baby? You tell it a lot better than me.
Oh, man, I guess I can tell it. So I am a national trainer for a dance fitness company called MixFit. And I'm originally from North Carolina, Charlotte, North Carolina. And I was in town in Kansas City. It's my first time to the Midwest on a business trip, a master class, if you will. That's what we refer to those two at the gym here in Kansas City, a YMCA. And here for the weekend at the gym, met him there randomly. It was one of those by chance meetings and what we call serendipitous meetings, right place, right time. Yeah. And we met there. I know during that time he had the business and the supplement company that we have, and he originally approached me to be an influencer, or, to get the product, to put the product out there. So we talked about that a little bit, but shortly the conversation kind of turned.
It was not shortly, y'all. She literally gave me her Instagram, no phone number, no other thing. Was like, yeah, that might work. Here's my Instagram.
It was a business inquiry, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a business inquiry. Yeah, wink, wink.
And that was for Better Rebuild, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Better
Rebuild.
Better
Rebuild is your supplement company. So you asked Jessica, can you be our influencer model?
Yeah.
Did you say / girlfriend, wife?
Well, no, I didn't say anything like that. Like I said, she had came
He played it safe at first.
I did. Like I said, she had came to the Y. I was teaching a class. Immediately noticed her. Actually, I noticed her before because they have flyers up at the Y with her on it.
Oh, wow.
So it's safe to say he was already plotting when I got there.
Well,
awesome.
A couple of the fellas was like, hey, man, you see that cute girl that's coming that's supposed to be here teaching this class? And I was like, oh, okay. Didn't think much of it, though, because she wasn't teaching the class at the Y, but they did have her flyers for the classes she would be teaching up there. To my surprise, here she is, and she wants to take my class. So, I noticed her energy. Of course, she's attractive. She's killing my class. I'm known for some hard classes, and she's over there killing it. So, I did. It was like, hey, you should look into my supplement company. Gave her a free sample. Was like, hey, and then she was like, okay, well, here's my Instagram, right. And that was it. that was in June.
Yeah, June of 22.
2022.
And then, some time had passed. I was very heavily focused on my career at the time. I was not interested in dating or anything like that. So we didn't really progress until November of that same year.
Got it.
So once we got to November, it was kind of like, okay, I'm gonna see what he's, talking about.
Again, it wasn't even like that. I had to slide.
Why did you have her start the story, man?
Because I know I was going to have to tweak it a little bit. I had to slide in her DMs 6 months later and was like, well, hey, how you been? What's good?
Right.
And then she was like,
all right, I guess I'll be social. And then we started talking, and that was November. December, I moved to Kansas City.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
So, and that was like around about this time last year,
Oh, yeah.
December 2022.
Yes.
So, that's a quick genesis
Oh,
to Better Together. Because you met in 2022, and then me and my wife too. I mean, we were high school sweethearts, and we kind of knew. I mean, we just knew.
Yeah.
Like when you find the right person, the right mate. There's just like it's like they're a puzzle piece or something. There's something deep there. I love how you found each other in fitness, kicking your own asses in a class.
For sure.
And I can picture you, I was known for hard classes, and then she's in there just,
he gave everything he had, though. He made sure that I felt everything. I was like, rude.
I mean, I was just doing my job.
Trying to make you get better.
But it was a challenge, and that intrigued me as well, so.
That was so cool.
Yeah.
So what has that journey been like since December up until present day?
I mean, so that was December. I moved here. We got married this past June 2023. But quickly before that, when I moved out here, it was always, what's the plan? We were never kind of like, just going by the our coattails. It was just like, what is our plan together? How do we plan to move forward in life together? We have this commonality of being in the gym, working out, being trainers. And we quickly wanted to, combine our love for each other, but also our education, our love for fitness, and kind of plan to go forward from there. So yes, ever since from when I moved here in December, we always had a plan to, okay, we're going to build this thing from the ground up. We're going to be married. We're going to do this together.
I love it.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I didn't expect this to happen. When you guys are in the room and I hear you talk about that, it just, how when you hear people share their story and you can put yourself kind of like feel what they were going through and just how beautiful it is. Especially you and I had talked on the phone about how fitness can be a wedge sometimes.
Oh, yes.
In a marriage. And, I think you had said something about like, the sabotage with the cookies and the cabinet and, let's talk about that.
I'll be 38 this year. I opened my first gym when I was 18. So, I found every objection in the consult, and the number one is, I got to check with my spouse.
The consult is your client who wants to get in better shape.
Right.
And they're like, Dre, help me. Yeah,
right. So it's either the man or the woman. They'll come and they'll be like, hey, I want to do this. I need to make sure my spouse is on board though.
Right.
Or, well, he's not into fitness or she's not into eating healthy, so I don't know how it's going to work. It's very hard, to have a goal that big and not have the support behind it. Fitness, half the game is just mental.
Right.
Eating healthy, making healthier decisions, saying to myself, I'm going to get up and go to the gym at this time every day. And if you don't have the support at home to at least, push you to go do that, because, obviously you've been struggling to do it on your own. So you're reaching out to a trainer for help, right? But then, you have your significant other, oh man, let's have pizza tonight.
Right.
Or why are you going to the gym again? Yeah. Or, any of those type of things, it's very discouraging, and then they of course they fall off or they quit, so like I said, with us meeting in the gym and always finding laughter at the gym or something to talk about at the gym, we figure, hey man, let's show people that you can do this with your significant other, even if your goals are different.
Right.
You could be, have a wife that's in shape and you're wanting to get in the gym. You can still work out together, find activities to do together, and still crush your individual goals.
Right.
Yeah, your biggest influence is definitely who you're around the most, and that's gonna be your spouse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So,
or at least it should be.
Right.
I love that.
And so we wanted to kind of create something where it was a safe space for both parties to kind of come in and be that support for each other. And sometimes people don't know how to do that. They really don't. And so we sat down and kind of made it like simple for the common person to, read this guide or see these programs or whatnot and be able to, come together and like, okay, let's do this together.
And, and just to add on that, most of us as we get older, we get busy, whether it's with friends or work or whatever, right? So when do we really have time to just sit and bond with our significant other?
Right.
When
people struggle to make it.
Oh yeah.
Right. Yeah. So like
time, you have to make it just like you make every time for everything else.
So, when you're working 9 to 5, get off, pick up the kids, make dinner, it's 9 o'clock, it's time to go to bed.
Right.
So when you're doing that every day, you do lose that connection with your partner. So, having, a guide to where, okay, cool, today, we're just going to set aside 10 minutes to eye gaze. Or we're going to make sure we go to the gym today together, and that's still time.
Let's make dinner together tonight.
Right. So our program incorporates things like that. If you're both going to get healthy, might as well bond as well, because we don't have the time.
So,
exactly.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So like you said, we've made it simple. Because it's so funny because before you said that, I was like thinking about it. It was like a Rubik's Cube in my head.
Yes.
Of like, because of that dynamic. Because I know my wife and I, it was like back in the day, it was P90X. Then we tried that, what was his name? He did Insanity.
Sean T.
You knew what I was going to say before. And it was, and when you do that one together, it's like move everything out of the way in the living room because he's doing those back kicks and stuff.
Right.
And it just, there's something about it though. How do you do that? Because everybody's different. And like, so my goals, like I remember I was all about Body Beast for a while, and then, but she has different fitness goals.
Right.
How do you bring people together? Like,
so with doing this, it's kind of like you have to get back to the basics, honestly, and then build from there. So if you're at 2 different levels, again, put that base there and then kind of build on, okay, well, this is the next step. This is the next step, and plainly put it out there because, everybody's on a different level as far as, time and the brain power and what they want to give their energy to. And so, just kind of listing those things where you don't have to think about it too much. All you have to do is kind of read and follow the directions.
And on top of that, like the meat and potatoes has always worked. Like, so when me and her go to the gym together, right? I'm a pro bodybuilder. She's into fitness, not to the level that, lifting heavy and doing things like that. But we can both go to the gym and do squats, right? And on my plan,
great example.
And on my plan, I might have 3 times 5, 3 sets of 5 reps. So I'm going pretty heavy. Hers might be 3 sets of 20, because she's more into like toning and, just keeping things tight where I'm trying to build muscle, right? So as long as
that's the same machine, same movements, different weight, different reps.
Same thing with the meal plan, right?
Okay.
Like I'm gonna have 6 ounces of steak and, a half a cup of rice, and she's going to have 3 ounces of steak and a quarter cup of rice. So we're still on our individual trajectories. When you see people doing, burpee backflips on Instagram, that's just for the laughs and giggles to get y'all to click on my profile, right? But when you really dive into a real program, it's going to just be the meat and potatoes, the things that's always worked, right? Compound movements like squats, bench press, shoulder press, lunges, things like that. So we can both go to the gym at the same time, use the same equipment. And I look at my plan, she looks at her plan. Our numbers are just different. Same thing with the meal plan, right? So we make it so that y'all can continue to work out together and still have your individual goals.
Right.
And essentially, the percentage of people that can do a burpee backflip is very small, right?
Well, again, it's just
so we wanted to be able to reach the average person, the average, level of fitness.
If you can do a burpee backflip,
knowledge.
You probably don't need me anyway.
Right. They're on a whole different, that's a whole different audience, right? So we wanted to kind of have more of a broader reach, again, connect with the average person who feels alienated from the gym or, doesn't know, what we know as trainers and the education that we've been through and the experience. So,
and again, even with that, and just to piggyback on that, you do have some couples where one of them's been in the gym for years. They may not be a trainer, but they go every day, whether with their friends or whatever they're looking up on Instagram or whatever. And you have the other one who wants to go and doesn't know anything. So, again, we made sure to make the program so that you can go with your husband or wife who's the avid gym goer and still feel like you're fitting in.
Dude, you just called out something too. I don't know if you realize you did it. You probably do, because this is not your first rodeo. But something about that is you can be great in the gym with your goals, but you can be a terrible teacher.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Babe, do this thing that I've been doing for 10 years.
Exactly.
Just go.
Right.
And just start doing these lifts.
Right. And that's how your significant other gets hurt, or they don't want to go back, or
a point of contention in the relationship.
Now I feel like you're yelling at me in the gym.
Right.
And I like to tell this story when it comes to that right there. Like, I don't know how to clean. Like, I've learned that.
Like clean, like no, power clean?
No, like clean my house.
Okay, got it.
See
me trying to read between the lines.
I'll clean something and I'll think it's clean. And then here the wife comes behind me and it's like, oh, nah, bro.
That could have been better.
It's not. Right. So, like you said, like, so I'm that person. Like she's the person that's super clean. He wants it this way. I'm the person that it looks clean. It looks okay. So going back to what you were saying, like she's teaching me how to clean, but I'm kind of resentful about it sometimes because I'm like, man, I thought it was clean. You know what I'm saying? I thought, but we want to take that out. So we have so now you have this third party who's just going to tell y'all both what to do.
Yeah, and put you both on the same level for a second. It kind of
tell me what that looks like.
Well, yeah, like he was saying, you have that one's maybe an avid gym goer and they've been going for a long time and they got a lot of experience lifting or whatever modality that they choose to do. And you have this newbie over here who they don't know anything and maybe they're intimidated by the difference in knowledge, So our program is like, okay, both of you come here and we're going to start here together. Then let's build together. That way nobody feels left behind and it creates that connection. Like, okay, we're achieving something together where it's like you don't feel like you're having to pull me and I don't feel like I'm chasing you. Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, neither person is carrying the other person or relying on the other person, right? Because now you have this guide and you have our videos with the app and things like that. So, you don't have to keep asking like, hey, babe, well, how do I do this? Or, hey, babe, how do I do this? Right. And the other person's not like, oh, man, I got to train my wife today. It's more like, oh, I get to work out with my wife.
Right.
So I get to. That's a big thing.
Right.
That's a big thing. I think it was like Jocko Willink, with his extreme ownership stuff. He's like, don't complain about the things that you have to do. Reframe it as get to do it. This is what I get to do. Wow. Me and my wife are at a level where we can both walk into a gym. Like we have mobility. That's something we take for granted. Just the ability to like get up in the morning, And so I'm just curious. I mean, because when I talk to you, it's like effortless. But how did you converge and build this?
So basically, really, it was like, well, I've always been an entrepreneur, right? Like I said,
never owning a gym since you're 18.
Right, never had a job. So my thing was, I want my wife to experience that too. That entrepreneur thing. She's been in the fitness for a long time as well. Her background is fitness, but it's always been building somebody else's business.
Right.
Like she just opened a stretch lab.
Yeah.
She's a general manager there, lead flex now.
Yeah.
And she's basically, have built that clientele up. And I'm like, hey, you should do this for yourself. Have that freedom and have that on your resume that you did this for yourself. So, we both have extensive knowledge and extensive experience in the fitness game. And I'm like, well, how do we combine that? So we can do this training program, and you could say you get 2 trainers and things like that. But what about if we go above that? You know, what about if we really niche down, right? Because when you're going on Instagram and you're going on YouTube, everybody has abs, everybody has nice glutes, you know, everybody can do, just to circle back around, everybody can do the burpee backflip, right? So, you know, you can kind of get just lost in the noise, you know, and people don't know, a lot of times people don't know what to look for, who to look for when they're picking a trainer, right? You know, so we're like, let's just niche down and find people who want to work together, who want to experience a wife and husband duo, you know, because a lot of times people train with people who they resonate with.
Right.
You know, or you connect with people who you resonate with, right? So let's reach out to couples who want to get in shape or want to be in the gym or even just looking for another reason to bond and have that time together, right? And it was really easy because we do all this stuff already. Like, you know, we go to the gym together. We believe in meditation together. We gaze all the time. You know, we journal together. So cool. You know, so being able to put that on paper and then put that into an app to help others was just like a no-brainer at that point. You know, we immediately just pivoted to that. And, you know, even when we launched our book, it was such a great response to it. Right. You know, and we was like, okay, cool. We did find this niche. And, you know, me being in business forever, it's always like you should dominate your niche. You should find something to elevate you above the noise. What separates you? Anytime you fill out like an application for a grant or some kind of government funding or some kind of partnership, they always ask you, what sets you apart? What makes you different? Right. You know, there's 1,000,002 trainers out there, right? Some are good, some are bad, whatever. But what sets you apart? Right. And this is what sets us apart. That we're both knowledgeable, we're both meat and potatoes, we both really live this. And if you're a couple who want to elevate that and experience that, then we're the people for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think with us both being in the fitness industry so long, you know, you pick up the things that you're more inclined to, things that you excel at. Like he has his master's in nutrition and he's great on muscle growth and bodybuilding in the gym and things like that. Those are a couple things that I respect about him and his style of training. My strength is mobility, flexibility, mechanics, proper form, knowing why you're doing what you're doing. Like sometimes people don't understand, okay, do a squat. Okay, don't just do a squat. You know, get your proper footing, take your hips back, make sure your weight's in your heels, like little things like that. And we were able to kind of morph that together. And that's what I love about our program because it's so well-rounded. It's not just one thing like go in the gym and kill yourself and lift heavy. And it's like, okay, let's do a yoga day. Let's flow. Let's make sure those hips are mobile. Let's make sure, you know, you're stretched out. So you get a well-rounded fitness experience with our program. And honestly, I guess I could be a little biased, but that's what I would look for in a program if I were looking.
I love how you said fitness experience. Yeah. You know, because the other thing about it too is this is something that you don't want people to do just to like look good for summer.
Exactly.
This is about longevity. And that's just like your marriage should be.
Precisely.
Too.
And that's the problem with fitness as a whole. Like what you just said, right? Like fitness is based in vanity. Like the amount of people that get a trainer when it's too late, you know, like a lot of people, their first inclination is, why do I want to work out? Oh, because I want to look better. Because, oh, my homegirl, she started working out and she looks good, or I want to be in this two-piece, right? Right. So a lot of people, that's what's drawing them to get a trainer. That's what's drawing them to get in the gym is the vanity portion of it. Right. It's never really the longevity or, you know, okay, cool, I don't want my mate to have to carry me up the stairs when I'm 60. Right. You know, so we like to bring fitness back to, you know, hey, look
functionality.
Functionality. Yeah. You know, but definitely.
That's the word that's been on my mind this whole time.
Right. Functionality. Definitely look good, but that feel good.
Exactly.
You know, when I was younger, like I said, I've been in the game for a while, but when I was younger, I didn't take stretching seriously, things like that. You know, it was just like a lot of ego lifting. You know, put that 315 on there, no warm up. Let's just hit that.
Let's just go.
You know, I'm 38 now. That's not happening.
Right.
You know, it's a proper warm up. There's 10 to 15 minutes of stretching before these lifts now, and I feel so much better.
Yeah.
And, you know, if we can teach people that the right way and still be able to look good and reach those other fitness goals that they may have, then, you know, we feel like we're doing, like she said, a very well-rounded program.
Right.
You can look good, you can feel good, but you can definitely have the hip mobility to be able to walk upstairs when you're 50.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, at nearly, like, I'll be 36, he's 37. I mean, it's less about vanity and more about, again, functionality. Is my body working the proper way? Can I touch my toes? Can I reach overhead? Can I hop? Can I jump? Can I skip? You know, things that we kind of leave in childhood a little bit. It's like once you reach your late 20s and 30s, it's like you're not doing any of that anymore. And that's
because it hurt. That's why they ain't doing it, because it hurt.
shouldn't, though. Right.
Well, it hurt because they're not stretching.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
They're not doing their mobility work. They're not foam rolling.
Exactly.
They're not doing any type of recovery, or they're not working out at all. They're just stationary.
Right.
You know.
Right.
You know, a lot of things are misconceptions and myths, and we like to do that. Like, one of the biggest misconceptions that I come across as a trainer, as a male trainer, is that as you get older, you lose this testosterone, right? And people think and people think it happens like when you're 30, 32, like, oh man, no, what happened was you got old, bruh.
Right.
Like, you got busy, basically.
Right.
You know, think about how active you were in high school, college even, right? Going, you know, out and about, parties, or working out, maybe on a intramural team or on a sports team, you know, but then you graduate, you get a real job.
Right.
So now you're, like, again, circling
You're
back.
sitting 8 hours a day.
Right. So
now.
circling back, you're back to the, you're
The
at, you're
effects on posture too.
Oh, God.
so you're sitting there for 9 to 5, or you're working 9 to 5, right? And then your weekends where you were active before, like doing hikes when you were younger or things like that, are now like other social activities, meeting at the bar, or having the barbecue, or this is the kid's birthday, right? So your testosterone didn't plummet. Your lifestyle became slowed down.
Right.
So as your lifestyle slowed down, everything else slowed down.
So let's talk about that, because you're talking about an app. Is your app out right now? Forgive me. So
yes.
Yeah, tell us about that, because, you know, that's part of it, right? You know, on the phones, we got, you know, everything's going on. So tell us about that app, how it works, and
it's
and
convenient.
How people can use
it. The app is convenient.
To have an app, by the way, in the time that you've been a business, that is huge.
Yeah.
Apps take years sometimes to develop. So congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Oh my gosh.
Well, we wanted, like I said, we wanted to be easily accessible.
Yeah.
You know, and we also wanted training to be affordable. You know, when I was a personal trainer, meeting people at my gym or whatnot, I was $50 to $70 an hour. You know, so the average person could afford 1 session a week with me, you know, 2 tops. So what are they doing the other 3 days a week, 4 days a week, you know? Nothing.
Right.
So, you know, we wanted to develop a way that, you know, it was more affordable. You can get 5 to 6 workouts in, still get your meal plan in, and be able to train and feel like you had that trainer, had that guidance.
Right.
You know, that was a lot more affordable on your pockets, you know.
Right.
Because again, our target market is couples. A lot of couples have kids.
And I mean, essentially,
finances.
It's 2023, and you have to be up with the times and technology. Like, training's been around forever, but how you reach people has changed. And we wanted to make sure that, you know, we're in 2023. You know, like,
and a lot of people are already getting their workout programs from Random Trainer A on YouTube or Random Trainer B on Instagram, right? But it's not personalized.
Yeah.
You know, you're still you're following somebody else's plan, or you're just following along with them.
They're giving you that one program that they've sent to 50 other people.
Or they, you know, it might just be like home workout Google, and they do that, right? And the body doesn't respond to 2 things: random things and inconsistency.
Right.
So if you're doing random workouts every day, you're not really hitting any type of goal. There's no measurables in there, right? Because it's something random every day.
Right.
Right.
The body responds to consistency and doing things repeatedly. Those are the two things that your body will adjust to.
Right.
Your body won't adjust to something random because it was random. It was a one-off occurrence. Why should I change for that? That's what your body is saying, right?
Exactly.
So when you're just following a trainer on Instagram or just following a random workout program on YouTube, your body's not getting something to change to.
Right.
Same thing with meal plans, right? I always used to bring up the Atkins diet, right? It was probably like the world's first great meal plan, right?
That was the one, just to level set, that was from early 2000s, right? And it was mostly meat, right? Okay. Got it. I want to make sure I got that correct.
And it was the number one best-selling meal plan book for like a decade. And
That's right.
And the thing about it was, it gave you a set macros and it gave you a set meal to follow, right? So it worked for the people that fit into that macro category, right? So if you needed 1,800 calories and X amount of fats and X amount of protein, then it worked for you. But everybody else, it didn't. You only hear about the stories that it did work, but there was somebody that bought that book that it didn't work for. Right. And they followed it to a T.
Right.
But it was because it wasn't personalized and it wasn't made to them. They might have needed 2,200 calories and X amount of fats and X amount of protein for it to work. So when you're following just these ready-made programs or just this guide, your body is not going to change long-term for that. So, what we wanted to do, again, was bring something to you that was personalized and also affordable.
So the app will track diet and exercise.
We'll
put a link in too.
Yeah, so we definitely still meet with each client. They definitely have a consult with either me or my wife. And we find out what your goals is, each person. And then we find out, what your meal preferences is, because one thing we hate to do is force people to do something that they don't want to do, right? The number one thing to get somebody to quit is to try to make them do something they don't want to do.
It's not conducive to longevity and
right. Just think about your job. If you was going to a job every day that you hate because you had to do something that you hate, you're going to be on LinkedIn, you're going to be on Indeed every day.
Everybody who heard Dre say that has been there at one point in time, listening right now.
So if you hate kale and you hate burpees, I'm not going to make you eat kale and do burpees.
Two great examples.
So we definitely dig into that and tailor it to you and your significant other, so that you don't feel like it's a task to go do these things. Right. Because we're not making you do something that you're wholly against. Right. You don't like baked chicken? That's cool. We can do there's a whole bunch of other proteins, right? So we make sure that our program is tailored. We switch the meal plans every week. So every week you do a check-in. Every week we're like, okay, what's working, what's not working? And your body's going to tell us that. And every week we adjust to that.
Right.
And that way you see continuous results, which is a motivating factor for most people, right? Like if you're putting all your heart into something and you're not seeing the results, you either want to quit or you want to find something else.
Right.
So, we make sure we do those weekly check-ins to make sure that we're getting that. So, yes, like I said, we made it affordable for people, but we also made sure that we don't sacrifice that person, making it specific to that person.
Right.
Right.
And then we have, we still have that accountability factor. Like while they're on the app, we're able to, on the back end of that, see when they worked out or, they're able to contact us through that. Like, hey, whatever questions they have. So that constant connection is there, even though it's online. You still have that, like, I'm here for you.
Yeah, like we get a report every day of who worked out, who didn't.
Right.
Wow.
And if 2 days, 3 days go by,
so you're not just out there.
We reach out like, hey, what's going on? We understand life happens, but we just want to check in with you, make sure that everything is.
See, that's something too, that Strava, MyFitnessPal, Garmin Connect, all these other apps, they won't do.
Exactly.
You guys have that, and I did not know this. I'm learning about the connection with you and the app right now, and so it's like I love how you've made the app an extension of you guys and what you provide. But I'm imagining you can do this on a more scalable level. You both are so active too. I mean, you're always doing a class, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm seeing that, and I know you connect with Sweat Vault alike. And I've been meaning to meet them as well.
Yeah, they're wonderful.
You know, and I love that work that you're doing. How do you guys balance all this stuff? You know, like what's your method just to get into the operations of the how?
Time management, man.
Yes.
Like,
what does that look like?
As adults, you know, you definitely got to manage your time.
Right.
You know, we're all busy. Everybody's busy, right? But, you know, if you can master some level of time management, you know, you can get a lot of things done, you know. So with her, you know, having Stretch Lab and she's there from, you know, 9 to 6 o'clock, you know, we know that, you know, okay, cool. We're going to have to do better together at 7:30,
Right.
You know, from 7:30 to 8:30, we're going to work on this.
Right. Creating some consistency with the scheduling.
Exactly.
Like pretty much my week looks the same every week. You may have your occasional outliers here or there. I got this meeting, like, you know, we don't do a podcast every week.
Right.
But, you know, essentially my schedule's like, okay, this day I'm doing this. I'm here, I'm showing up. That's the time for that activity. Like you have to have some structure and then discipline as well. Like I'm not going to let anything else interfere with this if you can help it. Of course, life comes up, but we try to create as much consistency from week to week as possible.
That is true.
Yeah.
And, you know, so, and on the weekends, we shoot a lot of our content on the weekends. We try to plan out our posts on the weekends.
Yeah. I've been meaning to ask, like, how do you do that?
Man, so like, we'll go to the gym on Sunday and with 2-3 outfits.
Yeah.
Shoot 2 weeks worth of workout videos, things. Leave the gym on after that 2 to 3 hours. Shoot our cooking video or our talking video at the house. Edit everything right there on that Sunday. You know, we'll sit there after that. You know, we got our tablets out, football games on, go Chiefs. You know, and we're working.
Right.
You know, even in that way, we don't have to worry about it during the week or trying to squeeze it in. You know, again, it's all about time management.
Yeah.
And
then too, at this point, people have begun to look for us. You know, so when we know people are out there, like, you know, anticipating our posts or anticipating our tips and whatnot, that creates some, you know, dedication there as well. Like we don't want to let people down. So, that helps too.
That is, I mean, you just amazing, because here's the thing too, like you've seen it probably, you know, Kevin O'Leary from Shark Tank, you know, he is all about content right now. And he said, you know, I used to be able to pay a marketing person $25,000 a year. Now I can't find one for any less than $250,000 a year.
Yeah.
And I've noticed your content, like it's great. You've got shots at the gym. You're talking about the cooking stuff. The fact that you just said, we'll bring 2 or 3 outfits.
Right.
I mean, that's just, I just think that's genius. Like, you know, and for all the people out there that resist this and say, well, I don't like social media. It's like, well, I'm a recovering I've had to learn it because it's required.
For sure.
I know if I don't do it, like if I don't make reels for you guys, for the guests, or I don't do stuff with my business, people aren't going to know me. If they don't know me, they can't flow me, all that stuff.
Exactly.
And so I feel like that's just huge, like how you guys make it a day. So you do your editing too, which is huge. People out there that don't know, it's so hard to edit.
It's so hard.
Especially when you're involved with like running the business, and then you're like, you guys don't just film, you film each other working out, you know.
And but you are the business. That falls on you.
The business.
And like we literally just had that conversation, 2-3 days ago, about having to be out there on social media in these days and age, you know, because everything's out there. That's how everybody is finding what they want. They're going to social media and they only follow you if you're giving them something to follow.
Exactly.
Right.
Nobody's going to follow you if you're not giving them a reason to follow you, you know? So we just literally had that conversation because I'm more of the outgoing person, the networker. I'm going to shake a random person's hand at Verizon and be like, okay, so you got a business too.
That.
What do you do? You know, she's a little bit more reserved. And, you know, so even before this year, you know, she was really wildly and consistent on social media, but she's now seeing the more consistent she is, the more people are coming out of the woodwork. It's like, hey man, we love what you're doing. You know, so like even with her mixed fit thing, she's starting to drop a mixed fit routine weekly on her YouTube. And
oh, that's awesome. And we'll put links to your YouTube too. We'll
for sure.
We'll give everybody that.
Well, she's basically like one of the faces, you know, of YouTube. I mean, of mixed fit. And so now that she's putting herself out there more, her following is growing.
Way more connections.
And because people have been looking for that from her.
Right.
And, you know, and it goes for any business, though. You have to be out there. You know, it's not as easy as just putting a shingle outside and saying, I'm open for business.
And you know what? Unfortunately for me, and a lot of people out there, your talent will only get you so far. Your knowledge will only get you so far.
If I didn't own these mics, I'd have to drop it. Well, tell us about that, Jessica.
Go ahead, because
hit us.
Tell them about the mediocrity, baby.
And we talk about this. My role in the dance fitness industry is when I got into this about 12 years ago, I noticed in the gyms, because I have a dance background. And I actually fell into fitness by accident, but that's a whole nother story.
Wow.
But I noticed with my dance fitness classes, there's a hierarchy at the gym, and people respect different classes more than they do others. And I noticed the dance fitness, it was always like, oh, that's easy, or that's, you know, that's not really, it's, if you want to get a little bit of cardio, they don't recognize it as a real workout or credible thing to do at the gym. It's honestly kind of looked down upon because people, they're more inclined to like weights, or real gym heads, they're more inclined to machines and things like that. So I kind of got into this, like, when you walk into my class, though, I want it to be a different experience. I want you to respect what I do, and I want you to feel like you're getting results. I want you to feel like you're being educated. I want you to feel like what you're doing is bringing you some kind of results. And so my job at MixFit with the corporate office is to now ensure that trainers are being great instructors. They're being, you know, credible. Are they staying in shape? Are they living the fitness lifestyle? Are they, you know, and a lot of the times you can have people that aren't the best at what they do, but they take the time to put themselves out there. Mm-hmm. They take the time to make connections. They take the time to, they just take the time.
Exactly.
You know?
Right.
And, you know, I'm more of a, okay, let me dive into my craft. Who cares about anything else? And the people will come. And it doesn't work like that.
Doesn't work like that.
Unfortunately.
Not in this age, because mediocrity sells because they're willing to let people into their lives and post more regular and connect with people more regular. So you'll see somebody on social media saying something really, really not true. Like, hey, y'all, I'm going to put your gut in your butt. And it's selling because they're putting it out there. And it's like,
and they're personable.
Them, but I want a link.
But it's like so impossible for you to do that, right? Like that's not how.
That's anatomically incorrect.
Right. That's not how working out works, right? But they're putting it out there every day. They're in front of their audience every day, right? And they're taking that time to put that out there every day, right? So they're growing, even though what they're selling and their tagline doesn't make any sense. But it's working, right? So you can be great.
Right.
You can be smart. You can be knowledgeable.
Right.
But you have to put that out there every day, multiple times on multiple platforms, right? To connect with that audience. Yeah. And you may not go viral and you might get 7 likes and 6 clicks, but it'll grow.
Right.
Just like that person that's putting that mediocrity out there.
Right.
They grew because they were consistent and willing to put themselves out there. That's it. Yeah. Half the job is just showing up. Every job is that, right? Every job, half of it is just showing up.
It's so profound, man. I saw this. It was a meme. Of course, it's a meme because that's how we get our education these days.
Right.
It's like, that was a really impactful 2 sentences, but it was something like, there's people half as smart as you. something out there, making 10 times more you are because they're not afraid.
Exactly.
Or they're, you know what I mean?
Yes.
And, I'm not an elitist when it comes to intelligence and all that kind of stuff. I feel like, everybody can improve and do these things.
Exactly.
But I have often been like, this podcast is actually, this is my thing of facing my fear and slaying it, throwing a rock into its forehead kind of thing.
Exactly.
Because I hid for the longest time. And I thought, what if I do this? Like, I'm going to upset people or whatever. It's like we make all these demons. And when you go through new levels, you got different devils. And,
exactly.
There's all kinds of stuff you have to battle. But this is seriously, I feel like it's a theme of 2024. It's like, if people do not get the consistency
exactly
and just start, you can't learn unless you do it.
Exactly.
Like, I couldn't learn how receptive people are going to be for this podcast until I launched it, and then I could see how many listens am I getting, how many people are following, you know what I mean, like who likes this, who likes that, what but you don't know unless you start.
Exactly. And another thing too is you can't necessarily target friends and family.
Oh, tell us about that.
Man, don't do that.
You can't.
Ever.
Yeah. Because as you do things that you're scared to do, you're going to turn into a different person. Your mind is changing. The way you do things changes. You're changing. Sometimes these people can't fathom that change. And you trying to cater to these people, you trying to get their approval is going to keep you small. So that's another reason why networking and getting to know other people and venturing out, it's literally like leaving the nest.
Right,
you
because
have to leave the nest.
And even if your friends and family do purchase whatever you're selling, it's a one-time purchase just because you're your friends and family, right? That doesn't mean they're going to leave their longtime barber or their longtime hairstylist or their longtime personal trainer, or that your style of training is for them.
Right.
They literally are a one-time purchase.
Yeah.
And as a business, who wants one-time purchases? So it was good that they purchased, but just know that you might never get another purchase from them, right? Because it was literally just because they're friends and family.
Well, in some ways too, you're killing who they were comfortable with,
right?
By going into something else. So, and I'm learning that too, like how to have that grace to say, hey, if you support me, that's great.
Right.
If you don't, I love you. I still care. I got people. There's a part of it where like you almost got to build a new tribe.
Exactly.
And speaking of that, how do you guys network? Like, who do you network with? Who's come along in your journey?
Everybody, man. Like, just to backtrack, like on Better Rebuild, when I built that, man, I wanted to shake every bodybuilder's hand, every gym owner's hand. If you were in the gym and you was into fitness, like I wanted to shake your hand,
right?
Because I had something for you.
Right.
I want you to give me a try. So, me, I take every meeting, and she'll tell you, like, we'll be at the bar and just sitting there, and I'll strike up a conversation with the person next to me. And eventually it turns into like, hey, I do this. What do you do? Or however it gets there. And we found some real diamonds in the rough that way. I randomly met a guy at Verizon who was able to cut my production costs in half.
I knew there was truth to that story. When you mentioned that earlier.
Just
the guy at the Verizon store, like, that's oddly specific, man.
Well, he was there, and he had mentioned that he was looking for a business line for his business. He was trying to get better, and he was like, and I gave him some tips on Verizon and which way to go. And then I just was like, hey, well, what kind of business you do? And he was like, oh, I'm in the production of this, that, and the third. And I was like, oh, really?
Right.
Well,
let me
and then we
get your ear right quick.
Right. And that turned into a meeting the following week. And the next week, my production cost was, split, cut in half.
Yeah.
You never know who you're going to meet on your journey, who you might be able to grow with, and in that situation, was one of them that was just random. And, she'll tell you, I talked to like even reaching out to you, it was just like, hey, he's a podcast. He's growing. How can we be a part of this? Because there's no such thing as bad exposure, right?
Right.
And if we can get involved in something positive and also have a chance to tell our story, speak our brand, why not? A lot of people out here are scared of the word no.
Yeah.
Especially if you're into sales or if you're trying to grow and you're trying to network, they're scared of no. That's why they don't reach out.
Exactly.
That's why they don't ask for the sale, because they're scared of no. no is not powerful, man, unless you let it just become a hold of you. No is just another word.
Right.
You know, I've been told a no a whole lot. Oh, no, I don't have the money, or it ain't going to work for me right now, or, oh, no, your business doesn't align with my business. Cool, man. I still I still hope you do well. Right. You know, now to the next. You know, there's somebody for me that's going to tell me yes.
Right.
But until you get over the fear of no, you'll never be great in business. You'll never network. You'll never be put out there because you were too scared to ask in the first place.
And he's, as far as, you know, and in personalities, I feel like, you know, plays a part into this. He's great at I call cold connections, like him hitting you up randomly on Instagram. Right. I would never. I would never. But being in the sector that I am, and I'm connected to a lot of other fitness professionals, it's kind of utilizing the connections you already do have. And they know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody. Right. I've been blessed to kind of be in that arena where, you know, I've had a lot of referrals and people that have known me for a long time, you know, like going back to the friends and family thing, even if they don't necessarily utilize me, they've told somebody else about me, and, you know, that's brought, you know, an opportunity my way. So
even this opportunity was brought because you work at Sweat Vault, and you were doing their event there to promote Mixed Fit. And he followed Sweat Vault because of that. Yeah. And so even that, you know, was just a randomness.
It's like a web, you know.
You know, you guys, you know, I say this all the time, and every guest to this point, and just again, that was the moment. It's becoming a thing on this podcast when people talk about, you know, if I can't help you, I know who can.
Right.
And the value in connection and all of that. And it's just like, again, a great example, you know, like I just think of the genesis of all of this, of you two meeting in that class and then where you're at now of how beautiful life is.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm very curious too, because we got 10 minutes left here. Okay. So I want to make sure we cover anything you guys wanted to talk about that we didn't. I want to ask you what's on the books for 2024. What are your goals? Because you've accomplished so much in such a relatively short amount of time. So like, I'm just like, how are you?
Well, we're gonna step into the real world off of online this year.
What's that?
We're gonna get off of online, because everything we do right now is like basically almost like e-commerce and you know through the app. But we're gonna put on a couple events this year. Still playing with the name, but we think it's gonna be called Love and Sip. So basically, it's going to be a bonding experience with your partner. And you can go ahead and explain that, Bae. I know we got a couple of those already planned.
So, we plan to get more, again, bring it offline and kind of be real. Like, make that in-person connection where this particular event where I'll guide them through a couple stretch. And we'll get to do that again, the bonding and the, learning together in person, and then add a little champagne, wine or whatnot to take the edge off, but kind of touring, if you will, visiting different cities and getting our faces out there and, letting people know, hey, we're real people, real trainers. We really care about what we're doing, and we want people to feel that in person. So that's definitely going to be something that we concentrate on this year.
Yeah, we have one in Omaha, where I'm originally from, in February, and then we'll be doing one in KC, either March or April. The date's not set yet, but we definitely have two on the books already.
Yeah. That is so cool.
And we're looking really forward to that, really getting out there, showing, like she said, just showing people that we're a real couple, man. Yeah. Like the things that we're putting out there, y'all, we really, really practice, even when we do our talks on IG and stuff, we try to be transparent. Like, hey, we struggle just like we want people to know that we're learning too. We like to say all the time, we're not marriage counselors.
Right. And we're not perfect.
We don't have communication down yet.
Yeah.
We still argue. We still do all the things that you do too.
Exactly.
I remember the video. You posted it last month, I think. You both were talking about that. And I was going to ask you, what is the biggest challenge in what you do together?
Like I say, personality.
Yep.
And learning how to kind of navigate. Like he would do something a certain way and I'd do it a total different way.
Like cleaning.
Exactly.
But that compromising, okay, I'm going to, kind of remove my ego because a lot of things are ego based. So it could, and we're stuck in our ways. And so I've been more willing to be like, okay, I'm going to see things from your point of view. I'm going to take your advice because here's the thing. I respect him as a person. As aside from being my husband, I respect his journey as like where he's been. I respect his mind. And so I feel like that should be one of the bases if you're going to choose to marry somebody. Kind of take that fairy tale illusion that they all feed us and say, hey, do you really care for their soul, their mind? Do you respect this person? I feel like that's a foundation for love, honestly. And so because I do respect him and I do... I want to hear what he says most of the time. I feel like that kind of helps me okay, I'm going to take your leadership. And then he does the same for me in other sectors.
You have to, like she said, you have to take your ego out of a lot of things. You can't have an ego in a marriage.
Right.
Your partner may just be right. You may just have messed up, bro.
Right.
She may just be right. You know, and it's okay to be like, yeah, that's right, and we should have did it that way. Or, I see your point of view. We can try it that way, you know, and it takes, being at a point in your life that you're willing to let go of that control, let go of that ego. And if you can do those two things, there's not very much that you can't overcome. Because like I said, we're going to argue, and you're going to argue with your mate, just like you argue with your mom, you argue with your brothers, right? And
That's
but how you get past that is just removing that ego and being able to be like, okay, cool, you may be right, and if she is right or he is right, going ahead and saying it, like,
and it's just like your job. You don't like your job every day, do you? But you show up.
Right.
And you do what you're supposed to do.
Well, that's what, when you're talking about the illusion, like people don't realize how much hard work love really is, and how love is brutal sometimes.
Love is a full-time job.
Yeah.
It's a constant. You have to show up and you have to choose to show up.
Exactly.
A lot of marriages and love fail because you decided just to stop showing up.
Right.
And once you stop showing up, there's no more progress. There's no more compromises. And what makes a marriage different than dating is you have to show up, right? Like, this is something that you committed to and that you wanted to work at one point. So you have to show up. That person is there. Y'all are intertwined now.
The grass is green where you water it. Straight up.
Exactly.
You can always look over the fence like, man, they got a nice yard. Well, if you took the time to make your yard nice, it would be nice too.
Right. Or hire True Line. They'll come through. They'll come through.
Or hire them for a couple weeks.
Right.
Exactly.
My neighbor does that. I won't name him. I won't put you on the spot, brother. But
that's, like I said, man, like it's not easy. Like I said, we have our disagreements. We don't see eye to eye on everything.
Right.
Yeah.
But we come together and compromise or at least speak it out.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Because when you don't speak things out, that's when you get resentments, right?
Yeah.
And once you have resentment, little things start mattering.
Oh, yeah.
more.
It's a foothold, right?
Right, because now
for
something that you would have never argued about is an argument. Because you didn't want to talk it out. You didn't want to be just a good person and be like, yeah, you're right. Like a lot of times, like I have a lot of homies, a lot of friends, and I'm like, bro, you have to verbalize that you were wrong and be like, and just take ownership. Nah, I can't do that, bro. Why can't
it's
you?
like, what are you winning when you do that?
Exactly.
You're winning nothing. You both lose
Exactly.
in marriage when you do that.
You gotta be able to, accept those losses in marriage. Like
happy spouse, happy house.
There we go.
Right?
I love that. I've heard happy wife, happy life.
Exactly.
But I
It's
like
so one-sided,
happy spouse,
right?
Happy house.
Exactly.
But if it's that one, but if you're doing the happy wife, happy life thing, it becomes one-sided.
Mm-hmm.
And us as men,
exactly,
we want to, we want to be masculine, we want to be macho, right? But deep down, we still got feelings. We still have a voice. And so when you put it her way, you do have that voice.
Right.
It should be like, hey, you want to make the other person happy as well.
Right.
And, a lot of men, they shy away from commitments and things like that because it is happy wife, happy life. Oh, man, I got to bend to her whim and, you know, wait on her.
Talk with the boss.
Right.
Yeah, you know, but
That what makes me
I tell
cringe.
people all the time, man, I don't have a ball and chain. I got a wife.
Yeah.
You know, and it's because I do have a voice in my relationship. And she also has just as equal as a voice. You know, we have our strengths and we play to those and we've identified those. We sat down and wrote those out, you know, and we don't have an issue with that.
All right.
So, you know, just kind of in closing, I'm thinking about how people can engage with you. What's important to you guys right now? Like, where do you want people to go? I know you can find the book in certain places, but I don't want to tag anybody that, you know, isn't the ideal source. So, you know, if they're purchasing the book, where can they get it? How can they get the app? What's the best way?
So Better Together, CPT. That's C as in Charlie, P as in Paul, T as in Tom. That's our Instagram handle. Also our Facebook handle. BetterTogetherCPT.com is where you can check out more information about the app. You can see the programs. I know we hit a lot on couples fitness, but we do take personal people as well. So, like, you know, if you're just alone and you just want to do your journey by yourself, we can definitely still help with that.
Yeah.
You can find the book, the link to our Amazon on all of our platforms.
What's the name of the book again?
It's Better Together, the Ultimate Couples Fitness Bonding Challenge. I know it's long, y'all. I know it's long. But in the book, you'll find date night activities, bonding activities. There's a 30-day workout program in there. There's a 30-day meal plan that you guys can experience together in there as well. And again, you can find that on our Instagram, on our Facebook, on our website. You know, like I said, we do have a lot of things going on, but Better Together is the thing that we're like most passionate about right now, man. That's the thing that we really want people to resonate with. We definitely want to connect with more people who want to experience that journey because, you know, we want people to be healthy. We want people to be happy. We want people to be in love.
Appreciate that. Any words, Jessica, before we close up?
We're excited to serve in any way we can. That's what we're here. We look at ourselves as servants in the fitness industry. So hopefully we'll be a one-stop shop for you, whatever you need. And we're here. We're ready to work.
I appreciate that. Thank you both for coming on the show.
Thank you for having us.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to KCBC. Again, remember to support Dre and Jessica. I'll be putting the links in the episode notes. Again, every time you share an episode, you follow us on Instagram, all that stuff, it's not just helping us on the show, it is helping our guests get the exposure. Again, these folks are doing amazing work in Kansas City. The lessons that we discussed here today, definitely on this episode, apply universally. So continue to spread the word. We appreciate you guys. Thank you.